Good morning. Oh, how's everybody's weekend going so far? Mine has been being lazy. I went back to work a couple weeks ago, so I'm still getting used to that and all that fun stuff. Thank you, Lily, for letting me know you can hear me and see me. Appreciate it. Otherwise, I'd be reading and nobody'd be there. Wouldn't be the first time. Anyways, so this is an AA meeting. I'm Sandra and I'm an alcoholic. Please don't be doing any judgment in here. It is an AA meeting and I would like for people to be respectful to each other and don't be judging each other or saying rude things to each other in the chats. That's my only rules, is don't be going and harassing people either, because just because they're in the chat doesn't mean that they are the alcoholic who suffers. They might be here to learn how to maybe help a family or a friend. So there's that as well. Anyways, I'm Sandra. I'm an alcoholic. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Now, I do know that each thing has a delay. So I'm watching on my phone. All right. Let's get annoying. Step 1. We admitted we were alcohol or blah, 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 blah. We admitted we were powerless over alcohol. Our lives had become unmanageable. Really? Don't mind the dog gagging in the background. Anyway, 2. Came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore sanity. 3. Made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood Him. 4. Made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. 5. Admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. 6. We're entirely ready to have God remove all these defective characters. 7. Humbly asked Him to remove our shortcomings. 8. Made a list of all persons we had harmed and become willing to make amends to them all. 9. Made direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. 10. Continued to take personal inventory and when wrong, promptly admit it. 11. Sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood Him, praying only for knowledge of His will for us and the power to carry that out. 12. Having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, we try to carry this message to alcoholics and to practice these principles in all our affairs. I always put in the description what book we're reading, what page we're reading, and the story and chapter. So we are in chapter 11, A Vision for You, on page 151. For most normal folks, drinking means conventionality, which
Convid.
he can't pronounce it either. Convictually, companionship, and colorful imagination. It means release from care, boredom, and worry. It is joyous intimacy with friends and a feeling that life is good, but not so with us. In those last days of heavy drinking, the old pleasures were gone. They were but memories. Never could we recapture the great moments of the past. There was an insistent yearning to enjoy life as we once did, and a heartbreaking obsession that some new miracle of control would enable us to do it. There was always one more attempt and one more failure. The less people tolerated us, the more we withdrew from sobriety, from life itself. As we became subjects of King Alcohol, shivering denizen of his mad realm, the chilling vapor that is loneliness settled down. It thickened, ever becoming blacker. Some of us sought out storied places, hoped to find understanding, companionship, and approval. Momentarily we did. Then were Then would come oblivion and the awful awakening to face the hideous four horsemen: terror, bewilderment, frustration, despair. Unhappy drinkers who read this page will understand. Now and then a serious drinker, being dry at the moment, says, "I don't miss it at all. Feel better, work better, having a better time." As ex-problem drinkers, we smile at such a sally. We know our friend is like a boy whistling in the dark to keep up his spirits. He fools himself inwardly. He would give anything to take half a dozen drinks and get away with them. He will presently try the old game again, for he isn't happy about his sobriety. He cannot picture life without alcohol. Some days he will be able to imagine life either with alcohol or without it. Then he will know loneliness such as few do. He will be at the jumping off place. He will wish for the end. We have sworn how we got out from under, or shown how we got out from under. You say, yes, I'm willing, but I am, but, but, blah, 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 but am I to be consigned to a life where I shall be stupid, boring, and glum, like some righteous people I see? I know I must get along without liquor, but how can I? Have you a sufficient substitute? Will you quit? Yes, there is a substitute, and it is vastly more than that. Will you lay down? No. Go lay down. Now. No, I said. He's behind the computer and the Chromebook. It's going to be annoying to me today. Yes, there is a substitute, and it is vastly more than that. It is a fellowship in Alcoholics Anonymous. There you will find release from care, boredom, and worry. Your imagination will be fired. Life will mean something at last. The most satisfactory years of your existence lie ahead. Thus we find the fellowship, and so will you. How is it that to come about, you ask? Where am I to find these people? You are going to meet these new friends in your own community near you. Alcoholic, Alcoholics are dying hopelessly like you in a sinking ship. If you live in a large place, there are hundreds high and low, rich and poor. These are future fellows of Alcoholics Anonymous. Among them you will make lifelong friends. You will be bound to them with new and wonderful ties, for you will escape disaster together, and you will commence shoulder to shoulder your common journey. Then you will know what it means to give of yourself to that, or give yourself that others may survive and rediscover life. You will learn the full meaning of love thy neighbor as thyself. It may seem incredible that these men are to become happy, respectful, and useful once more. How can they rise out of such misery, bad repute, and hopelessness? The practical answer is that since these things have happened among us, they can happen with you. Should you wish them above all else and be willing to make use of our experience, we are sure they will come. The age of miracles is still with us. Our own recovery proves that. Hey, Tony. Our hope is that when this ship of a book is launched on the world tide of alcoholism, defeated drinkers will seize upon it. To follow this suggestion, many, we are sure, will rise to their feet and march on. They will approach still other sick ones, and fellowship of Alcoholics Anonymous may spring up in each city and hamlet. Heavens for those who must find a way out. In the chapter Working with Others, you've gathered an idea of how we approach and aid others to health. Suppose now that through or through you several families have adopted this way of life. You will want to know more of how to proceed from that point. Perhaps the best way of treating you to a glimpse of your future will be to be to the future will be to describe the growth of the fellowship among us. Here is a brief account. Years ago, in 1935, one of our number made a journey to a certain western city. From a business standpoint, this trip came off badly. Had been successful in his enterprise, he would have been set on his feet financially, which at the time seemed vitally important. But venture well his venture wound up in a lawsuit and bogged down completely. The proceeding was shot through with much hard feeling and controversy. Bitterly discouraged, he found himself in a strange place, discredited and almost broke. Still physically weak and sober but a few months, he saw that his predicament was dangerous. He wanted so much to talk with someone, but whom? One dismal afternoon, he paced a hotel lobby, wondering how his bill was to be paid. At one end of the room stood a glass-covered directory of local churches. Down the lobby, a door opened into an attractive bar. He could see the happy crowd inside. In there, he would find companionship and release, unless he took some drinks. He might not have the courage to scrape an acquaintance and would have a lonely weekend. Of course, he couldn't drink, but why not sit hopefully at a table, a bottle of ginger ale before him? After all, he had not been sober 6 months now. Perhaps he could handle, say, 3 drinks, no more. Really quit. His dog. No more. Fear gripped him. He was on thin ice. Again, it was the old insidious insanity, that first drink. With a shiver, he turned away and walked down the lobby to the church directory. Music and happy chatter still floated to him from the bar. But what about his responsibilities? his family and the men who would die because they would not know how to get well. Ah, yes, those other alcoholics. There must be many such in this town. He would phone a clergyman. His sanity returned and he thanked God, selecting a church at random from a dictionary or directory. He stepped into a booth and lifted the receiver. His call to the clergyman led him presently to a certain resident out copper random certain resident of the town, who though formerly able to able and respected, was then nearing the nadir of alcohol despair. It was a usual situation. Home in jeopardy, wife ill, children distracted, bills in arrears, and standing damaged. He had a desperate desire to stop, but but saw no way out. For he had earnestly tried many avenues of escape, painfully aware of being somehow abnormal. The man did not fully realize what it meant to be alcoholic. When our friend related his experience, the man agreed that no amount of willpower he might muster could stop his drinking for long. A spiritual experience, he conceded, was absolutely necessary, but the price seemed high upon the basis suggested. He told how he lived in constant worry about those who might find out about his alcoholism. He had, of course, the familiar alcoholic obsession that few knew of his drinking. Why, he argued, should he lose the remainder of his business only to bring still more suffering to his family by foolishly admitting his plight to people from whom he made his livelihood? He would do anything, he said, but that. Being intrigued, however, he invited our friend to his home some time later, and just as he thought he was getting control of his liquor situation, he went on a roaring bender. For him, this was the spree that ended all sprees. He saw that he would have to face his problems squarely, that God might give him mastery. One morning he took the bull by the horns and set out to tell those he feared what his trouble had been. He found himself surprisingly well received, and learned that many knew of his drinking. Stepping into his car, he made the rounds of people he had hurt. He trembled as he went about, for that this might mean ruin, particularly to a person in his line of business. At midnight he came home exhausted, but very happy. He has not had a drink since. As we shall see, he now means a great deal to his community, and the major liabilities of 30 years of hard drinking have been repaired in 4. But life was not easy for the two friends. Plenty of difficulties presented themselves, but saw that they must keep spirituality active. One day they called up the head nurse of a local hospital. They explained their need and inquired if she had a first-class alcoholic prospect. She replied, "Yes, we've got a corker. He's just beaten up a couple of nurses. Goes off his head completely when he's drinking, but he's a grand chap when he's sober. So he's been in here 8 times in the last 6 months. Understand he was once a well-known lawyer in town, but just now we've got him strapped down tight." Here was a prospect, all right, but by the description, none too promising. The use of spiritual principles in such cases was not so well understood as it is now. But one of the friends said, "Put him in a private room, we'll be down." 2 days later, a future fellow of Alcoholics Anonymous started glassily at the strangers beside his bed. "Who are you fellows, and why this private room? I was always in a ward before," said one of the visitors. "For giving you a treatment for alcoholism." Hopelessness was written large on the man's face as he replied, "Oh, but that's no use. Nothing would fix me. I'm a goner. The last 3 times I got drunk on the way home from here. I'm afraid to go out the door. I can't understand it." For an hour, the two friends told him about their drinking experience. Over and over, he would say, "That's me. That's me. I drink like that." The man in the bed was told of the acute poisoning from which he suffered, how it deteriorates the body of an alcoholic and warps his mind. There was much talk about the mental state preceding the first drink. "Yes, that's me," said the sick man. "The very image. You fellows know your stuff, all right, but I don't see what good it'll do. You fellows are somebody. I was once, but I'm a nobody now. From what you tell me, I know more than ever. I can't stop." At this, both the visitors burst into laughter. Said the future fellow anonymous, "Damn little to laugh about that I can see." The two friends spoke of their spiritual experience and told him about the course of action they carried out. He interrupted, "I used to be strong for the church, but that won't fix it. I've prayed to God on hangover mornings and sworn that I'd never touch another drop. But by 9 o'clock I'd be boiled as an owl." Next day, the prospect more receptive. He had been thinking it over. "Maybe you're right," he said. "God ought to be able to do anything." Then he added, "He sure didn't do much for me when I was trying to fight this booze racket alone." On the third day, the lawyer gave his life to the care and direction of his creator and said he was perfectly willing to do anything necessary. His wife came scarcely daring to be hopeful, though she thought she saw something different about her husband already. He had begun to have a spiritual experience. I'm just going to go ahead and read the rest of it because there's not very much left. I don't think, anyways. Check again. Pages like to stick together. Oh, it is long. Okay, never mind. So we're going to stop there. Yeah. So I remember when I was thinking about quitting drinking again, because as you know, I quit for a year before I actually went to AA. And I went back out to drinking after that year, and so I knew I could get sober, but like this, I was like, it's been a year, I'm just gonna go ahead and try one drink. Well, one drink wasn't enough because I went back and I drank for another year and a half. I can't remember exactly how long. Hey, Ava, but I do. When I went back out, I didn't just have one drink because it's the truth. When you have one drink, you're just gonna go right back to where you came from. I didn't think that there was any way that something was going to help me. I didn't, you know. But anytime in any place for me, I tell people I am a recovering alcoholic for the sole purpose of, from my experience of being an alcoholic and being sober, I want other people to be able to have that as well. Giving a gift that I received has made me a better person, made me know that I'm not alone. There's other people just like me that have similar stories, have been through the same things, had same feelings, been through the whole works. And before AA, I knew that there was other alcoholics, but I didn't know that I could get sober and stay sober. I mean, literally, I wanted to be sober so bad and stay sober, but I didn't know that there was so much help in meeting the books, the meetings, the apps that you can get to help guide you through your day of making you feel better about your journey of sobriety and all of your feelings. Um, the best thing for me from being sober is my true feelings. I don't have those fake feelings anymore. And what I mean by the fake feelings is you go through them so fast when you're drunk that your mind can't even keep up with what you're doing. And that's when you get the scrambled brain. And it's not fun. It is not fun. Um, watching somebody that you care about go through that is scary. It's really scary. And it's the truth. You think you're fooling your friends and your family that there's nothing wrong with you, that you don't have a problem with the alcohol, or that you don't have a problem with whatever that addicted thing is. Um, but in reality, they see it, they feel it, they know it. You're not fooling anyone. I thought I was. But then when I finally decided to say I'm an alcoholic, was the first time I got sober on my own. And I got sober, didn't have a clue what to do from there, but I was sober, you know? And they all knew what I had been doing. I wasn't fooling anybody. Just thought I was fooling them, and really all I was doing was acting like an idiot and trying to keep my alcoholic self under wraps and make sure I had that drink, and trying to make sure that they don't know. It's all just a big hassle to go through that and to put yourself through that. And then to be sober and realize all the things that you thought you were getting away with, that you thought that your family didn't know about. They know. They know. Yeah, hi Reza. Holding yourself accountable for your own actions, because after all, we can only control ourselves. We can't control anything that somebody else is doing or saying or anything. So, yeah, and you have to learn that if you're not putting yourself first, you can't help anybody else. And that's sometimes hard to want to put yourself first in your feelings and all of that, but you need to. And I just pray that you find what I've found in whatever it is that you're trying to change about yourself. It is worth every single day to be sober. I don't care if I'm crying all day or if I'm laughing all day. It is real, true feelings minus that alcohol. Because, as I say, the alcohol makes it fake, makes you fake, makes you someone that you are not. And watching people go through that after I have become sober, it's really, really hard. Because I can't tell them that they have to stop. All I can do is just suggest to them, hey, come and get the help like I did. Or maybe you should go to a rehab and get the help that you need, and then start doing this outside of a facility. It hurts when you have to tell people that. But that's something that I have chosen to do in my sobriety, is try to help the next one. And you can't always help them. Sometimes you're not the one that they need to have help them through it. Sometimes it's somebody else. sometimes they don't make it. It's sad to say that they don't make it, but that's reality. So if you want to get sober today, just know you're not alone. There are other people everywhere that are alcoholics that still suffer. And maybe you're the one that's going to get sober and help them. So whatever you get out of my meetings, just know I'm doing it to help. I'm not doing it for anything other than to help the next one. And that's it. That's it. You gotta help the ones who still suffer. And with that, I'm going to read the daily reflection and then say the serenity prayer and get back on to our day. Anyways, so let me get this up. Today is October 6th. Oh, and anyways, facing ourselves. I don't know how this happens, but they always seem to be what you're reading in that day from the book. But here it is. Facing ourselves. And fear says, you dare not look. 12 Step 12 Traditions, page 49. How often I avoided a task in my drinking days just because it appeared so large. Is it any wonder? Even if I have been sober for some time, that I will act that same way when faced with what appears to be a monumental job, such as a searching and fearless moral inventory of myself. What I discover after I have arrived at the other side, when my inventory is completed, is that the illusion was greater than the reality. The fear of facing myself kept me at a standstill, and until I became willing to put pencil to paper, I was arresting my growth based on an intangible. So that is all for today. So I will be live again on Tuesday morning at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for another AA meeting. And then I'm going to go live probably Wednesday around noon Pacific Time. So with that, let's go ahead and say the Serenity Prayer and have a wonderful, blessed Sunday afternoon. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Love you guys. Keep coming back. It works if you work it.